This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
FM 89.9 KMOJ. Letting you know, ladies and gentlemen, letting you know that this episode on this afternoon's drive time is brought to you in partnership with Little Moments Count. That's right, Little Moments Count and Minnesota Public Radio. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focusing on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of a young one's life. We're looking at nearly 80% of the brain's growth happens in the first 1,000 days of a small person's moment of interaction when it comes to talking, playing, reading, singing, and the list goes on. And I'm letting you know that if you like more information or you like a copy of it as well, you can always go to littlemomentscount.org. And for this afternoon, we got my man, Mr. Isaiah Allen. I'd like to say good early afternoon to you, and how you feeling, sir?
I'm blessed. How are you doing?
About 6'3" and cold chilling on a day like today. Man, is it nice outside? Is it nice? Is it nice? Is it nice? For the
Absolutely.
For the listening audience, can you give us a little bit about yourself? Because we're talking about you as being an award-winning author, a speaker, and a community builder. Give us just a little bit about the history of yourself growing up as a young person, and then we'll jump right into where we need to be at.
Yeah, so I am 24 years young. I'm from St. Paul, went to school, grew up in like West St. Paul. And, I'm really proud to say that I have amazing parents who push me to give it 100% for any opportunity I've ever had. I played college football at the University of St. Thomas. I worked in tech, worked at the university, and I kind of just stumbled along finding writing as just something to do. And I never thought I would ever get to this point, but we're here. Currently, right now, for my full-time job, I work for Ascension Catholic Academy as a major gift officer, where I bring the community together to support our inner city schools.
Okay. Now, looking at school getting around the corner, and it just recently started in some places when we're talking about not just the state of Minnesota, but every place around, because most of them have been on summer break. So can you give us some insights on what needs to be done or what you believe that needs to be done when we're talking about the beginning of the school year for those parents out there and those caregivers? What should they be looking at when it comes to the transition of making that transition smooth for a youngster going back to school?
Absolutely. The number one thing I encourage parents and caregivers to do is to check in with your kids. Ask them how they're feeling the start of the day and take a moment to debrief with them when they get home. Those small conversations help children process what's happening and remind them that they're supported. My dad, every single day before I left the car to get to school, he would hand me my phone and say, "Isaiah, give it 100%. Now I know the expectations. So I can't give it 50%, or I can't put I can't not put effort into school, because my dad said the expectations is 100% of my effort. Whether that means 100% effort in gym, math, science, sports afterwards, it's 100%. That's expectation. The other key step is building relationships with your teachers. At my job, Ascension Academy, we believe in an excellent teacher in every classroom, which means that your teachers should be highly trained and help your student grow. But that's only half of success, right? When parents and teachers work together, that's when families, educators, and children thrive. So I challenge every parent listening to this, get to know every one of your teachers, your children's teachers by name.
And then also when it comes to, because you're an author as well as in the educational side, looking at it from a parent or a caregiver side of it, how important is it to read to your child?
Absolutely. I think it's extremely important. But I think it's just as important for your children to see you read, and that uh, reading a book isn't just like a punishment from, oh, you can't play video games, go read a book. I don't think reading should be marketed as any sort of punishment. But we have to understand, like, kids are, when they go to school, they're probably reading a lot, but it's really important that we reinforce that. We go over some of the readings that they did and ask what they gained from it. Yes,
And then when it comes to self-esteem for youngsters out there, because we got that little thing called bullying and that kind of thing, or as they talk about peers, but we're talking about little youngsters that's just getting to know themselves, let alone being around other people. What are some of the things that you would look at that you would say that parents and caregivers and community at large should look at to make sure that youngsters are wrapped around safety commits to all the craziness that's been going on?
absolutely. I think the number one thing is to pay attention, not just your child, but the ecosystem around it, the environment around it. Understanding how uh, things going on, whether it's the news, budget cuts, affect your child, can help you support your child in the best way possible, right? Let's just say the music program gets cut. Maybe we find an after school music program, right? And I want to go back to what I said earlier is that I think the debrief is so important. Um, if you establish and you listen to your kid and you ask them, hey, how do you think your day went? What could be done better? And how are we going to accomplish that next time? I think those are really crucial, and I think that sets you up for success.
And you yourself being a book writer and being an author,
Mhm.
and then when you look at some of the creative things that happens and take place and you put them down in print, what are some of the
Mhm.
things that you're working on when it comes to you as an author and as a book writer, and how can someone find out more about you and actually get your book as well?
Absolutely. So I have a website now. It's isaiahallenliterature.com. So you can see some of the short stories I publish. You can reach out to me via email if you need help with the manuscript. And then you can see uh, this Friday, you'll get to see the two new book covers of my two books coming out next fall. Move and Groove and Stay Safe, Stay Cool, Stay Strong.
Move and groove and stay safe and stay strong.
Stay safe, stay cool, stay strong.
Stay safe, stay cool, stay strong. That sounds like a
That's
good title right there in order to build a youngster's attitude and their mindset and the spirit as well. How much importance in the midst of all of it is it for family support to support a youngster when in going to school as well? Because a lot of times when we talk about the mother and the father,
mhm,
sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But then
mhm.
having support from other family members to help support that child in order to have a good day.
Absolutely. I think it's super important. Like, I'm sure you would say this too. It takes a village, right? And I think if that debrief and that interest comes from other people, not just mom and dad, but older siblings, younger siblings, or having your kids tell your younger sibling, say, how school went and what to expect, and have talk with grandparents. That was one of the number one things when I talked to my family members when I was going to school was how's school going, right? Good. What are you excited for? Like I said, I think that debrief is super important and it gets kids excited. And we have to do a better job at not just celebrating athletics. You know, as a three sport athlete in high school and a collegiate athlete, that was amazing. I had tons of fun, but that stops. There gets a point in your life, unless you're LeBron James, where you slow down and it's no longer an option for you. But opportunities to learn, to grow, and to do things with that knowledge, to apply that knowledge, never ends. So we have to continue to support that and build that up.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to say thank you very much for the time and opportunity to talk to you. And if by chance, there's somebody that's out there that's listening, and I know you are, and you want more information, again, how can they get in contact with you about your book as well as some of your other books and things you're working on and that aspect?
Absolutely. Well, I'm on Instagram at Isaiah Lee Allen, and you can find me on Facebook at Isaiah Allen, and then you can, and same thing for LinkedIn, but you can look me up on my website, IsaiahAllenLiterature.com.
And as always, I want to say thank you very much for the time and the opportunity and your voice as well. All right?
Thank you.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like a copy of Little Moments Count, you can always lock it in at visiting at littlemomentscount.org. It's up from 89.9 KMOJ, no question about it. It's the People's Station.
99 KMOJ. It's about our community. We are the People's Station.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.